Welcome back to the channel. In this video I want to talk to you guys about Ubisoft and the fact that I believe they're going drastically downhill, and I don't think it's ever going to change, or it's not going to change at least for the foreseeable future. The reason I'm doing this video is because we've now had 3 free-to-play games announced, all being worked on at the same time. I know Ubisoft is a big company, but that doesn't take away from the fact that they don't have a lot of AAA stuff actually lined up for release anytime soon. They have just recently released Far Cry, they are doing Riders Republic, but this is more focused on the Tom Clancy side of things. And if you pay attention to the fact that they have just recently announced XDefiant, Tom Clancy's The Division Heartland, and then they have now gone and done Ghost Recon Frontline, or should I say Ghost Recon Fortnite, it's just not looking good for them. The entire Tom Clancy sort of franchise is just turning free to play. And what happens on free to play, because a lot of people are going to say, oh yeah, the game's free to play, what you moaning about? They're never free to play. They're free to download. You get to play the game, but you're either going to have pay to play mechanics in there or pay to win or something along them lines. And this all happens because people enable this stuff by purchasing into their premium microtransactions. If you look at the seasons they did in the Division 2, they only carried on with them, and they're releasing more because people buy into them. I have a feeling, I can't guarantee this, but I have a feeling if when they released Season 2, 3 and 4, if people didn't buy them anywhere near as much as they did, then I think we would have had a full-on expansion for the game. Yeah, that would have been paid as well, but it would have been actual new content instead of running the same missions that we've already done a million times over, just with a little bit of a story in the background. There was an actual list that someone put up on Twitter, and taking a look at this, the games that Ubisoft are going to be releasing, or at least they've been talking about, you've got Riders Republic, as long as it doesn't get delayed again, comes out the end of October. Roller Champions is going to be free to play. Just Dance 22, I don't think there's a huge audience for it. XDefiant, free to play. The Division Heartland, free to play. Rainbow Six Extraction, that I think that got delayed until 2022. Avatar Frontiers of Pandora, the end of 2022. The remake of Prince of Persia, that got delayed. Skull and Bones has been their 10-year nightmare. Ghost Recon Frontline, free to play. Beyond Good and Evil 2, haven't heard a lot about within the last year or so, at least me personally. I don't really follow it too much, so I don't know if they have said anything. But half them games, or at least a few of the games, are free to play. When a company releases a free to play game, they have half the effort put in, the budget is a lot lower, so the game is nowhere near as good automatically. There are some really good free to play games, but not from a AAA company. They'll always be half-assed. They'll always have really predatory microtransactions in them. You think back to the Assassin's Creeds with the time savers, Ghost Recon Breakpoint with the time savers. They weren't even supposed to release some of that stuff at launch, but they chucked it into the store because they know there's not going to be a huge amount of players to kick off about it. And then you have all these delays and everything on all the games, and Skull and Bones, it's been through 3 different visions to where we've seen gameplay for different types of games. They don't actually know what that game's going to be. Rainbow Six Extraction, it's just the Rainbow Six operators in some dodgy world filled up with alien sort of creatures. The Division Heartland we haven't heard much about. XDefiant had really bad bugs in the test they did or whatever, and I've actually got an article here about XDefiant. They even go, I want to be clear, this was indeed an early pre-alpha version of the game. So it was really, really early, fair enough. It's going to have bugs and stuff, that's expected. But they carry on to say that they're extremely happy with the positivity and great constructive feedback. So they want to talk about how the test went. They had almost doubled their anticipated numbers for the test, and that means they got a lot of great data and thoughtful feedback. They had a hiccup on day 1 with the various echo errors due to the number of people trying to play. How it doesn't make any sense that they're having errors due to the amount of people trying to play, because this was a closed test that they needed to be, players needed to be invited to play this test, so they knew exactly how many people they would have playing. Another thing is, you look at the PTS they were doing for the Division 2, there were issues and stuff pointed out by players that it never gets bothered with, they don't do anything to change it. And now all of a sudden they're dropping the AAA stuff to focus on more of the free-to-play things. They had a lot of Heartland gameplay leaked, and it didn't look that great, if I'm completely honest. Not only that, if you look at Ghost Recon Frontline and the PvP side of Heartland, they're both like Battle Royale type games. And even in Ghost Recon Frontline, people have been pointing out that the extraction is pretty much just the Dark Zone. xDefiant just looks like a mashup of assets from the Division 2 and from the Division 1 as well, because you've got a couple of the maps look like the, I think it's like the New York setting for the Division 1. And then they've got the, is it the 4 factions? 2 of them from, oh wait, no, I think it's a mix of Division and Ghost Recon, isn't it? Because I'm pretty sure you've got the Wolves, Echelon, then you've also got, is it the Outcasts and the Cleaners or something? They've got a mixture of just Division and Ghost Recon assets that they've chucked into a game, free to play. They'll release it, people get excited because they don't have to pay to actually play it initially. But then if you look at all the purchases and stuff that people will need to make to have any sort of like excitement in the game, it's going to cost people a lot of money. That's all they ever do with these stores. And the reason they focus on these premium stores is because people buy their stuff and enable it. But I honestly think like a lot of people are really put off by Ghost Recon Frontline. A lot of people are not happy about xDefiant. And I think it's probably got a mixed sort of reception on the idea of Heartland. And we don't hear a lot about these games often. But with that, the whole Tom Clancy sort of franchise as a whole is going downhill. Because how many people have wanted like a Wildlands 2 or a Future Soldier 2 or something like that? How many people have also wanted a Splinter Cell game? The reason we're not getting a new Splinter Cell is because if you look at Ghost Recon Breakpoint, they did a Sam Fisher thing. Rainbow Six Siege, they've done Sam Fisher. All the other Ubisoft games get DLC for Sam Fisher, and that way the developers don't have to put a budget out there, or the publishers don't have to put a budget out there and say, can you make a new Splinter Cell game? They've got it easy, and they now abuse Sam Fisher as a microtransaction, as DLC for other games. And Sam Fisher in Ghost Recon Breakpoint made absolutely no sense. He's supposed to be this badass guy that goes round and just destroys everything and everyone, and you was doing everything for him. His coding, his pathing for his driving was absolutely diabolical. They didn't even put effort into releasing Sam Fisher into Ghost Recon Breakpoint. So overall, in my opinion, I think Ubisoft are going to lose a lot of money in their financial years going down this free-to-play route. I can't see it going well at all. People are fuming over the look of Ghost Recon Frontline. And rightfully so, because Ghost Recon's always been like a third-person, tactical stealth sort of shooter. This game is a battle royale first-person that's just robbed assets and everything from other games. It just looks like a mixture of like Warzone, The Division, and a little bit of Ghost Recon, like here and there. The gunplay looks horrible. It looks like there's no recoil or anything like that. It just looks so basic, bland and boring. Just your typical battle royale, whereas right now, you can go load up Warzone, you can load up PUBG, you can get a similar experience. There's nothing innovative, there's nothing creative or anything like that in there. They've just gone, oh, we know the battle royale genre's made a load of money and the free-to-play model like encourages the purchases of microtransactions because people want to support us. We'll go down that route. You've even got to think about them making the Division mobile. But then on top of that, you've got to think about Hyperscape, that got shut down, or is being shut down. And the same happened with Tom Clancy's Elite Squad. So they've already had proof that people aren't actually that interested. There's a lot of people that will buy the microtransactions and play the games and support them and be fanboys. But there's also a lot of people that won't. But what we're going to do is leave the video there. It's kind of it's a mixed match sort of, like there wasn't one set topic. It was more Ubisoft and the Tom Clancy franchise as a whole, but also talking about several different games, free-to-play models, the like microtransaction stores and stuff like that. Just a ramble sort of video, just to put some info out there, get feedback and start discussions and things like that, all based on like Ubisoft titles. So let me know your thoughts and stuff in the comments. Also, let me know, would you rather like take all the bugs and everything out of the games, say you've got a fully polished game, would you rather have a Future Soldier 2 or a Wildlands 2, or the Division 3, or something like a full-on AAA premium game that's going to cost you £60, or would you rather something like xDefiant, Ghost Recon Frontline, or The Division Heartland? Would you rather that free-to-play with microtransactions all over the place and some half-assed game, or would you rather a full-on AAA premium game that's going to have a good story to it, going to have decent gameplay, all that sort of stuff? So basically, would you rather free-to-play or AAA? I'm also going to put that out in a poll as well. But let me know your thoughts and stuff in the comments. I'll see you in the next video. I hope you guys enjoyed it.